Hello, I'm Andy, and I'm going to read to you a program called Jupiter Retrograde Effect until November the 7th, 2021. Now, according to astronomy, the retrograde started at 20th of June 2021 and will last 18th of October 2021, but this according to astronomy. In astrology, we realize that sometimes there are leaking energies and it may not stop at the 18th of October. For me, it's going to move on until the 7th of November. We call that a leaking of energy, and that is shown here. So keep that in mind. Now, the periods involved from June the 20th up to 7th of November are Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Libra. The periods of Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Libra. And so these four signs are going to feel the most effects in one way or another, whether the up effect or whether the down effect. The sun signs that are affected the most in this Jupiter retrograde. If you happen to be born in the sun signs of Cancer or Leo or Sagittarius or Scorpio or Aries, then you may even have positive energies come your way during the Jupiter retrograde. But you have to be careful that to dominate and to control too much is what you mustn't do. To expand beyond you can sustain, you mustn't do. And you have to be careful that a tendency to take control of anything can happen for you. But you will have some opportunities and you'll have the downside, which can be because the calendar year Mercury and its connection to planets like Saturn, Venus, and Uranus, they are all against you. And they make you do things hastily and impatiently in 2021. So slow down and you'll be able to do better. But if you are from the sun signs, born in the sun signs of Gemini or Virgo or Capricorn or Taurus or Libra or Aquarius or Pisces, you have to be especially careful because you belong to the group of planets who are communicating together, which can make you even more miserable and more unhappy and more at a losing end in 2021. So your foundation will remain weak until end of this year, even after the retrograde. But the damage may happen when the retrograde period is on until November the 7th. So keep that in mind. Now, regarding planets, whether you know astrology or not, if Jupiter, Mars, Sun, the Moon, and Neptune are exalted in any way, you're going to have surprisingly good opportunities come for you from the Jupiter retrograde period. And you may be even able to find partnerships in any areas of your life. But because this happens in 2021, you are still advised to go slow and do some research before you make your plans too hastily. That would be the problem if you do it too hastily. So do some research and you'll do better. All right. If the planets Mercury, Saturn, Venus, and Uranus are exalted in your horoscope, then you'll have to be very careful. Very careful that impatience, hastiness will actually be the real cause of a bad downfall during the Jupiter period, which may affect any area of your life, be the job, business, financial, the personal life of romance and marriage, or even health areas. So be a bit careful there. Try to go slow in everything that you do. You coming from Capricorn. You coming from Capricorn are at the mercy of many planets during the Jupiter retrograde. And things can break down in front of your eyes. The romance, the marriage, the job, the business, and losses can multiply and multiply. So you'll have to be very cautious. You coming from Capricorn. Everything you do, have a second plan to it. Have a somehow a way that you can substantiate that. So you'll have to be careful. Now you coming from Capricorn, the lucky colors which you wear may help you. And the lucky color for you would be dark blue. Wear as much dark blue as you can during the Jupiter retrograde. and you will see that help comes from you just by wearing those colors, because whatever color you wear begins to help you communicate to the planet that controls dark blue. And dark blue controls some of your good planets, or the good planets control dark blue. I'm going to give you some ages. If you happen to be the ages of, which are going to be troublesome ages, by the way, and if you happen to be the ages of 21 or 30 or 39 or 48 or 57 or 66 or 75 or 84, you have to be very careful during the Jupiter retrograde period until November the 7th. And because of the leak, it moves on even after November the 7th. So while you may get opportunities from 2021 age planets or 2021 calendar year planets, you may not be able to handle these opportunities well. Now, I'm going to give you some good ages to look forward to, even during the Jupiter retrograde and until the end of this year, as Jupiter keeps retrograding leakingly. If you happen to be the ages of 26, I'll even start at 17, 17, 26, 35, 44, 53, 62, 71, or even 80. Then you're going to overcome the Jupiter retrograde problems very smartly, because ages are very powerful. Every age that you change into has a different alignment of planets. And if you happen to be these ages which I've just mentioned, which are good, you'll be able to enhance opportunities even. But still, because of the calendar year 2021, be a bit careful. Be a bit careful. Now, regarding your romance, marriage, and family, during the retrograde period of Jupiter, this is the time where everything is breakable. So, what you don't want to do is to be stubborn or dominate, or to just be too changeable as well. Don't try to or control that if that happens, because you will be under pressure. And regarding financial areas, including business and job, you have to be careful that making changes during the retrograde period of Jupiter is not a good way to go about things, because much damage can be done. And even holding to a job or just trying to keep your business going is going to be a pressure for you. So don't expand, don't look to exaggerate what you want to do in the term of wanting to add on new businesses or things like that. Regarding your health, during a Jupiter retrograde, firstly, I believe that the heart and the liver are the target. They can be due to cholesterol, they can be due to other reasons. So if you have problems of this heart and the liver areas, tell yourself during the remainder of Jupiter retrograde, be very, very careful. And accidents, well, accidents are meant to occur during a retrograde. Accidents can be financial accidents, verbal accidents, emotional accidents. And of course, the most dreaded ones are physical accidents. So, to avoid accidents, you need to slow down in 2021 during the retrograde period of Jupiter. That's what you need to do. The after effects of the retrograde of Jupiter seem to be overlapping to 2022. So sometimes I will translate it that what you started during the Jupiter retrograde in 2021 may start to flourish for you, may start to get, in a way, contributing to your welfare, whether financial or whether happiness. That may happen because the 2022 planets, they seem to be supporting you. So the Jupiter retrograde, what you start, and if it doesn't work during this year or during the Jupiter retrograde period, never mind. It can overlap to next year and they may work. So what you start during the Jupiter retrograde period may not work immediately, but it may just work later on, even in 2022. So these are the things which I will advise you to think about the Jupiter retrograde. Every planet retrogrades now and then. It doesn't mean that everything stops or everything goes against us. It's all a question of your date of birth, your time of birth, and especially looking at your palms. Your palms are divided to with the 9 planets as well. Every section of your palm talks of what the planets are doing. So, with this information, your date of birth, your time of birth, looking at your palms, I would like to have a 90-minute session with you, which will cost you USD $50. And this is, of course, based on your date of birth, time of birth, and looking at your palms. And I'll show you how to formulate your own personal lucky lottery numbers once and for all if you like to play lotteries. It's a system which I will teach you. And I'll show you how to connect to the magic that's already within you. I call that the soul. And connecting with the soul is how you become that special person in the world. Those who have done it are the ones who are astonishing the world with their ideas and their schemes that are so powerful, making them so rich and so famous. And why shouldn't that happen to you? And I will show you as well your lucky colors and lucky gemstones and lucky days and lucky directions. So much energy to teach you. So you will have become that very special person. So remember, a retrograde of a planet doesn't always mean bad. It's different for different sun signs. And for you, it can be especially bad. So I want you to be especially careful during this Jupiter retrograde period. Well, until we meet one day, I wish you the best of luck. And I want to show you my email. Send me this email if you wish to have a 90-minute session with me to know your next 9 years based on your date of birth, time of birth, and looking at your palms. Send me this email. I'll give you more information. Until we meet, I wish you a good life. Thank you. Goodbye.